to mid 90s, so any break from the heat we're definitely going to welcome with open arms. Speaking of the 90s, this weekend the 90s are back for some of us here in the Tennessee Valley. We'll be at 90 degrees tomorrow, and then Sunday just a little bit warmer. Also a higher chance to see some isolated to scattered showers in the afternoon hours. We're also taking a break from the humidity. It's very comfortable outside, definitely compared to last week. We're feeling a lot better. We're in that sticky to muggy category, but as we start the work week next week, those rain chances going to start to go up, as well as the humidity will be back into the oppressive category. Let's take a look at future radar for the rest of today and for your weekend. 4 p.m. It's kind of picking up on some storms in the shoals right now, but as we go throughout the late afternoon, evening hours, we'll start to clear up for the most part. A few rogue showers possible going through the evening hours like we saw yesterday. Going into the rest of the evening and into your Saturday morning will remain dry with partly cloudy skies. Then going into Saturday afternoon, it'll be fairly dry. 99% of us going to be dry going into Saturday afternoon. Just a few of us may see an isolated pocket of rain or two. Heading into Sunday morning, starting off dry once again, but as we go into the afternoon, we'll start to see some more scattered shower activity around the 2 o'clock hour, so late lunchtime hours. Gonna last as we go into late afternoon, evening, until finally we clear out heading into early Monday morning. Taking a look at the tropics, we've been eyeing these two areas of interest over the past couple of days. This one off the coast of the Carolinas and Virginia has a 10% chance of formation over the next 7 days and 48 hours, bringing some heavy rain to the Carolinas and Virginia, as well as a few thunderstorms, but overall not going to be posing any threat. If it does form, going to be going off to the Atlantic. Another one we've been eyeing, it's been dancing around the chances of development. Yesterday it was at 60, this afternoon it was at 50. Now it's at 40% chance of formation within the next 7 days. Right now has a little bit of thunderstorm activity, going to start moving to the northeast and won't be affecting the United States at all. So definitely something to be lucky about. If you're heading off tonight for any Friday night plans, temperatures still going to be in the upper 80s by 5 p.m. eventually falling to the low 80s by 9 p.m. Again, those brief chances to see some isolated showers, although most of us will be staying dry. Overnight lows will be in the upper 60s as well as the low 70s. Again, National Pickleball Day today. If you didn't have the chance to celebrate today, tomorrow will be a great day to go hit the courts. In the morning, feeling like 72 degrees. By the afternoon, hitting that 90-degree mark. Not too humid, fairly hot though. By the evening, we're still in the upper 80s. So definitely make sure you're staying hydrated if you're out playing some pickleball. Rain chances, they're going to start to increase as we go into. You guys are liking this taste of fall we have going on. Temperatures right now well below average. This time last week we were already feeling like the 90s, but right now some of us in the upper 60s, 69 degrees in Fort Payne, 74 right now in Huntsville, as well as Muscle Shoals and Decatur, 71 in Moulton. So I hope you guys are enjoying these nice comfortable temperatures. I know I did when I went on a run this morning. As we go throughout the day, our high temperatures not going to be warming all too high. We'll struggle to get into the mid 80s, 81 in Huntsville, 83 for Muscle Shoals. The rest of us going to be in the 70s, 79 in Decatur, 77 Scottsboro, 72 our cool spot over there in Fort Payne. We'll have these comfortable temperatures as we go throughout much of the work week. We'll be in the upper 80s as we approach Wednesday, back into the 90s by Thursday, and then we'll stay around average as we go into the weekend with plenty of sunshine. As we go throughout the day, we'll have the possibility to see some isolated pop-up showers. We'll see lots of cloud coverage to the east of I-65, which is why we are a little bit cooler over here, but again, some isolated pockets of showers not out of the question as we go throughout the afternoon and into the evening. And then we're going to start off the morning tomorrow with lots of cloud coverage like we did today. We'll start to see some isolated showers again around lunchtime, 1 p.m. Most of us staying dry with some cloud coverage, but as we go into the afternoon hours tomorrow, should be seeing some clear skies heading home from school and work. Taking a look at the tropics, we have Tropical Storm Dexter that started to form last night. It's likely going to stay a tropical storm as it travels over to the Atlantic. Not going to have any impacts here in the U.S. Now, looking at an area of interest, the National Hurricane Center put this at a 30% chance of formation within the next 7 days off the coast of Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida, and it's going to be likely to have an increase of formation as we go into the middle part of this week and into the latter part of the week. So make sure you're checking back in for details if you have any vacation plans in the east side of the United States within the next couple of days. Throughout the rest of the evening, we'll stay comfortable. 76 at 6 p.m., 71 by 9 p.m., keeping those chances for some isolated showers. I do think 20% is a little bit generous. Most of us will be staying dry this evening. Overnight lows a little bit cooler as well in those mid-60s. 64 Guntersville and Fort Payne, 68 here in Huntsville, 65 Athens, 67 in Muscle Shoals. Tomorrow, yet another below average day. Some of us in those upper 70s, more of us in the 80s. Our hottest spot being 87 degrees in Muscle Shoals. Again, keeping these comfortable temperatures throughout the beginning of the work week. We'll be back into the 90s by Thursday with those little chances to see some isolated rounds of rain and storms as we go throughout most of the week this week. But good news is no severe weather is likely with this system. We're mostly just expecting some heavy patches of rain as well as a few rumbles of thunder. So again, no severe weather likely with this system. Let's start to track it out here on Futurecast. We start to see these storms make their way through the Shoals as well as Lawrenceburg at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow. This is going to be affecting some morning commutes. It'll eventually move off to the I-65 corridor by 4:30 tomorrow. Again, heading home from work, going to be affecting these commutes. Now notice that after this main line, we're still seeing scattered showers following the cold front, which means that all of us are going to be seeing continuous rain going throughout the day tomorrow. It'll eventually move off to the Sand Mountain region by late tomorrow at around 8 p.m. And then we're going to deal with lots of scattered showers going into the early hours on Tuesday as well as the morning hours on Tuesday, waking up to yet another round of some heavy rainfall as well as some rumbles of thunder, and eventually calming out as we go into the later hours Tuesday afternoon, but then climbing back up again until Tuesday night. Now looking at the Way 31 Sky Cam sponsored by Thompson Roofing and Construction, we're staying mostly quiet. Temperatures are quite mild. We're going to be in the lower 70s right now, and for overnight lows, we're not going to drop much more. We're going to be in the upper 60s for most of us, 67 in Decatur and Huntsville, 63 in Guntersville, 69 for Muscle Shoals. Now going out the door tomorrow, we know it's going to be rainy. We know we're going to want to grab that rain jacket umbrella, but you're not going to need a sweatshirt. We're going to be quite warm. We're going to be starting off the day in the upper 60s, eventually warming up to the lower 70s by 9 a.m. and then we'll start to settle out into the mid 70s by lunchtime, and that's where we're going to stay for forecast highs for tomorrow. Notice it's a little bit cooler here in the Shoals than it is in Sand Mountain. That cold front's not going to quite sweep through yet until the later hours tomorrow. So you're going to be in the lower 70s in the Shoals tomorrow, but we're going to be in the 80s in Sand Mountain as we go into tomorrow. Rain chances for the next week going to be sticking with us. Again, that stationary front's going to continuously pump in rain chances as we go further into the week. This is a look at one of our long range models. We can see that we're going to be dealing with rain as we go throughout Wednesday as well as Thursday morning, and then as well as Thursday night. It's just going to be continuous rain as we go further into the work week. And then again, Friday night, still dealing with this rain from the stationary front. Severe weather-wise, we're not going to be dealing with any, which is grateful because, you know, this is the time of year that we do see severe weather and we're not seeing any with this system. So that's on good news, but we will be seeing some muggy weather as we go throughout the whole week next week. But temperature-wise, we're going to be quite nice. We just got to deal with all this rain, and then we're going to be seasonable. We're going to be in the mid to upper 70s, and then like temperatures going to be in the red. Now you see our heat index is going to be nearing 105 degrees. So if you're going to be outdoors today, it's going to be a hot one. Make sure you're staying hydrated, taking breaks from the sun. We are under a moderate to major heat impact for all of us here in the Tennessee Valley. So again, make sure you're practicing your heat safety. And if you think today's hot, well, just wait until tomorrow. This is new about 30 minutes ago. The National Weather Service has put us under a heat advisory for tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. because of heat index values from 105 to 109 degrees. So it's about to get very hot tomorrow. 105 feeling like in Muscle Shoals, 103 in Decatur, 100 in Guntersville, 101 here in Huntsville. We're also going to be dodging some showers as we go throughout the afternoon today and into tomorrow. Although today we're going to be staying mostly dry. If we do see a shower, it's going to be very short-lived, but it could dump some heavy rainfall on us. And going into tonight, we'll be staying dry. Now going into tomorrow morning, we'll be waking up dry, but as we go into the afternoon hours, this is when we can start to see some scattered showers in the Tennessee Valley. Again, very short-lived, but they could dump some heavy rain as well as bring some lightning. And as we go into the evening hours, should be remaining dry with some partly cloudy skies. Now, taking a look at the tropics, this has been updated since the last time we talked to you. Next 48 hours has a 40% chance of developing. Now, that's new from yesterday, and then in the next 7 days, again, 40% chances of development. The area in the shaded region is where we could expect anywhere that this storm could turn into a tropical development or perhaps our next storm. In this graphic is going to be a lot to look at. This is spaghetti plots, which basically are a lot of models that can show us where the storm can potentially start to travel to. Now, most in agreement that we're going to be traveling along the Gulf and then up to Louisiana and Arkansas, but some of them do have it in going through Alabama, which if we do see any impacts from the storm, it's likely just to be an increase in rain chances as we go into Friday and Saturday. So nothing to be worried about, but if you are taking a trip on vacation to the Gulf in the latter part of the work week this weekend into the weekend, definitely something to keep your eye on and make sure you're checking back in for details. Tonight will be in the mid-70s, mild, humid, but staying dry. And then tomorrow again, we are going to be hot. Temperatures warming it to the mid-90s. Heat index values nearing, if not exceeding, the triple digits. We'll keep these warm temperatures as scattered showers make their way back into the forecast as we get closer to the late afternoon and evening hours. Looking at Wave 31 triple Doppler again, not much activity right now. We do have some cloud coverage, but again, those showers will start to pop up as we get closer to the late afternoon, evening hours. Let's take a look at future radar for the rest of today as well as going into tomorrow. 11:30 cloud coverage. It won't be until the afternoon. We'll start to see some isolated showers make their way into the Tennessee Valley along 565, and then that'll continue as we go throughout the evening. Again, heavy rainfall, frequent lightning, gusty winds could be a factor in the storms. And going into 11 p.m. tonight, still could be seeing some heavy rainfall before starting off mostly dry for our Tuesday morning. A few of us could see some rogue showers, but it really won't be until the afternoon hours we'll start to see more of those showers enter into the viewing area. By 1:30, seeing some heavy rainfall in Sand Mountain, and then it'll become a little bit more widespread as we get into the late afternoon, evening hours before eventually drying up completely going into the late night hours on Tuesday. Now, I know all eyes are on the weekend ahead. It's a holiday weekend, and those rain chances, they're going to start to decrease, and those temperatures are going to start to increase. We'll be back into the low and mid 90s for the holiday weekend, and Friday for the 4th of July, a 0% chance of rain as of right now. So it's going to be beautiful to be outside, but make sure you're staying hydrated. Here's a look at the tropics. Now, I don't say this to scare you and cancel any vacation plans you have for the 4th, but going into the weekend, in the next 7 days, we do have an area of interest at a 20% chance that it could develop into something. And not saying it's going to be a major hurricane, it's probably just going to be bringing some showers and storms to the Gulf Coast as we go into 4th of July weekend. So just something to keep on your radar. Make sure you're checking back in for updates as we go throughout the week. We'll definitely be talking about it if something does pop up. Throughout the evening, temperatures will fall into the upper 70s by 9 p.m. Again, keeping those chances of rain as we go into the evening. Forecast lows will be sitting in the low to mid 70s. Going throughout the day tomorrow, again, it's going to be the rainiest day of the week. Temperatures will warm into the mid 80s. So again, a rinse, wash, repeat from today, just a little bit more of that widespread rain. And then going into Wednesday, that's when we'll really start to enjoy the weather. Rain chances will start. Well, we have a lot of yellow on our threat tracker, and it's not actually because of the threat of some storms. It's actually the threat for the heat. We're under a heat advisory today, which actually got extended into Wednesday, so that's why it's under a caution. And Thursday and Friday, we're still going to be feeling the dangerous heat as we close off the work week. Again, that heat advisory has been extended until 9 p.m. tomorrow for most of us here in the Tennessee Valley, shaded in that orange because of max heat index values from 105 to 109. Now, Sand Mountain, you're not included in this heat advisory once again. That doesn't mean that you guys will not be feeling the heat. I promise you guys it's going to be hot for y'all as well. Heat index values right now are feels like temperatures already exceeding the triple digits. 103 in Guntersville, 102 Fort Payne, 106 here in Huntsville, 107 in Athens. So it's definitely feeling very hot as we go throughout the day today. We could get up to 108 for our feels like temperatures today, dropping off a little bit going into the middle part of the work week. And then as we go into the weekend, looks like those feels like temperatures will start to skyrocket once again. Now, the high heat index values are going to make us have a high heat stress scale, stress to the body after 20 minutes. But if you're a lot like me, being outside for even 30 seconds in this heat is definitely going to be putting some stress onto your body. Right now, looking at Wave 31 triple Doppler, we're starting to see these scattered showers make their way into the Tennessee Valley right on schedule. And we're going to see this as we go throughout the rest of the day. A 20% chance to see some of those scattered showers as well as going into Wednesday as well. Taking a look at future radar for the rest of today and into your Wednesday. Again, starting to see these scattered showers make their way into the forecast at around 1 p.m. today. And that'll continue as we go throughout much of the evening hours. But by 7 p.m., most of us staying dry with some heavy cloud coverage. Few of us may be seeing a rogue shower or two. Waking up tomorrow should be nice and clear, and then we'll start to see some more of these isolated showers pop up around the noon hour tomorrow. Again, these could bring some heavy rainfall as well as frequent lightning and gusty winds, so something to be mindful of. And as we go throughout the day on Wednesday rather, should be seeing mostly clear conditions, but again, some of us may be seeing those isolated scattered showers. Throughout the rest of the day today, temperatures will be in the 90s with that slight chance to see some of those showers, and then overnight lows tonight will be sitting in the low to mid 70s. Now tomorrow, again, going to be another hot day, perfect one to spend by the pool. 95 degrees is your high. Feeling around 107 degrees. We're going to be keeping this heat as we go throughout the rest of the work week and into the weekend, where next week we could be seeing temperatures